Sandra. All right, let's bring in former special envoy to Russia and Ukraine, retired Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg. General Kellogg, good to have you here. I want to play this from Matt Whitaker, U.S. Ambassador to NATO. He was on earlier today with Maria. Listen.
We also need to know that President Trump is coming from a first choice of always being peace and diplomacy. And if the Iranians would engage and be serious about resolving this conflict, they would find a willing partner in the United States of America. But, you know, Iran continues to choose violence.
So what does that tell us about the future here? Do we have any reason to believe that any of this will ever be able to be resolved through diplomacy?
Yeah, Sandra, thanks for having me. Look, before we even start, our hearts and our prayers go out to those family members and the soldiers we lost just this last weekend. So we always should have them in the forefront of our mind. Look, there's about 5 things we ought to be doing right now because the war has changed right now in Iran. One, on negotiations. I would change out our negotiations team. You do not have or need real estate guys to be talking about negotiations in the middle of a war. And when you do bring a negotiations team back, it ought to be a real hardcore son of a bitch that is just sitting on the ground and can really do it well. And I don't think we have that right now. The second thing, and the president's doing this right now, on decapitation exercises, just taking out certain targets. He should continue to do it and make them really afraid of their life and stay hidden with the Revolutionary Guards and the leadership of Iran. And the third thing I would do is I would seize Karg Island and I would seize Larak Island. Why? Because Karg Island actually produces about 90% of their energy, and Larak Island, more to the east, is really their command and control center for the Strait. Will there be risk? Of course there are. It's called war, and that'll happen, and they'll accept that. But we need to understand why something like that needs to be done. It gives the president leverage he doesn't currently have, because airstrikes alone are not going to win this war. You're going to need ground troops to do something. That doesn't mean they go all the way to Tehran. I'm not advocating that at all. But you can take a couple key strategic targets that gives the president leverage, and it controls their economy over them. And the fourth is, this is one of those you reach out to the agency or somebody like that and you say, we need to come up with a way to provide support to the Iranian revolutionaries that can overthrow this government. And that needs to be done, sort of like we did originally in Afghanistan by putting special operations troops on the ground. They can do it and do that well. And the last thing I would do, I'd tell the president, look, sir, you need to go to the American people. They'll follow you. Bring them along. You are the constitutional commander-in-chief. Article 2, Section 2 is very clear. You're the leader, and they will follow you once you explain it to them. You are absolutely correct. We cannot afford to have a nuclear Iran. It will totally destabilize the Middle East, because then the Saudis will get one, the UAE will get one, the Bahrainis will get one, and then the place goes out of control. And you're doing it not for you and not for me. We're doing it for our kids and our grandkids. And if you explain that to the American people, I guarantee you they're going to come online. There's going to be critics. There always are. Just ignore them. Just continue to do what you've been doing, which is really leading from the front.
Thank you for your thoughts on that, General. This was General Keane on Fox earlier today, offering his thoughts on returning to major combat operations. Listen.
We're fully prepared to go back to major combat operations, which would be 2 weeks with a different set of targets than what we're pursuing right now, along with the Israelis. And if we're prepared to do that, where the targets are considerably more exhaustive than what we're dealing with the Straits of Hormuz, I think we're in good shape.
Was this a reference to Karg Island, as you just suggested?
Well, I think so. By the way, he's your hard-ass son of a bitch. That ought to be out there negotiating, because I think he's that good, and he's really, really smart. But you've got to do something different. You are not going to win a war just from bombing alone or strategic strikes from the air. I lived through that in the first Gulf War, when we went through a month of bombing, and finally it was on the berm, across the berm, and I got to the Euphrates River with the column I was leading. After 100 hours on the ground, the Iraqis said, we have enough of this. And I think you need to do something dramatic, and something like dramatic could be taking Karg Island, Larak Island, which is their command and control hub in the Strait, and use that as leverage for the future.
Okay. We will obviously be watching for everything that happens from here, and we do have our hearts and our thoughts are with those families of those service members. General Kellogg, appreciate your analysis today. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Sam.
All right, Jillian.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.